Okay, this is another checkpoint video for game in development synSpace drone runners. Today I want to show progress on the scripted tutorial, which should be the first map that a player encounters. And just to remind you, if your script can be a static, your star map can be a static map which just contains stars and things, or it can be a dynamic map which also includes a script which can add little scripted adventures and NPCs. In your normal static map, you just connect to your drone and you're in the galaxy and you're off doing the thing right away. But for a scripted adventure, I've got it set up so that, well, if this will help, if the little handbook's up, it waits patiently. But as soon as the player makes that go away, it starts playing a script that tells the backstory of the game, and I'll just record this at this point. In theory, the player doesn't have to wait through all of this. They can pick their thumb color at any time. So here the scripted camera work is just, center the view on Dalvik and then orbit. But in a different context, it could be jumping around from planet to planet, giving information, maybe a couple of characters talking to each other. But anyway, the idea is at this point it's going to go into sort of a tip of the day kind of mode, periodically sending another message from whoever the anonymous narrator is. But eventually the user selects their channel, configures their drone. That's should be a little more opaque, sorry. And I'll just let you experience this. When, I'm sorry, these will pause forever. If it doesn't have the green check box, it'll close itself after what it feels is a reasonable reading period. So we don't have a nav stick yet, so we can't turn or anything, so all we can do is fire straight ahead. Steering's proportional, so if you drag it way off to the side, it turns fast, otherwise it turns slowly. It doesn't really matter where your finger starts, it's just if your finger starts somewhere inside the circle, then that's the origin, and then if you move it to the left or the right of the origin, you'll achieve the change. The idea is that you may not be looking at the screen, you may just be touching it, so accuracy is not important. We can break all the rules. So basically all that does is it brings up your map chooser. Okay, so 2-finger zoom. Do it with my left hand. Zoom out, and the universe gets this cool wiggle. Hold 3 fingers on the screen and move up or down. Okay, let's see. Yeah. Okay, so the universe gets a kind of cool bowl shape. Let me zoom back in. Sorry. And this really just means that if you've used 3-finger zoom, so you've got sort of a side view of your ship, you can tap the camera button in it, and the only change it makes is it makes sure that the heading of the camera matches the heading of your ship. So this is a puzzle basically, but it's also teaching you to think about these walls. And you're basically, whoa. There we go. Okay, so I hit it once. So if I just send a bunch more bullets in that direction. Okay, now this one's actually a tougher puzzle unless you kill it right away. So I'm just gonna not bore you with the tougher puzzle. I think I'm going to remove it. It's too tough for this stage of the process. Now your ships are not proportional. They're either on or off. Your engines, rather. So the stop button over here will just cancel out all my velocity, but it'll use up a whole bunch of charge there, which you can see is a little animation. So when we picked our color, we were connecting to the drone. If we want to disconnect from the drone, hold the stop button down. It'll say disconnecting, and if you stop in time, it won't do it. But if you hold it down for the full 3 seconds, it'll disconnect, which will take you back out to where you can choose your thumb again. So I just fly right over it, and I picked it up, but it was another full restore, so I didn't need it. Okay, so see that blue line on the circle right there? It's pointing to my tutor. So as I fly around, it's always, if I fly towards that blue line, I'm heading towards my tutor. And since he has his beacon on, the little radar thing is also blinking like a beacon. And now that the drone's back, I also have a yellow line. And it also has an active beacon. I don't know if you can see that. So you have to, it's covered up right now, but you have to tap that icon to launch a shield, and it does get consumed. You can have several. You can have a stack of them. And mines, you have to select them, and then once selected, you can use them. Say how they're getting left behind in my wake. And I used up all my charge. But you can see the charge just comes back all by itself. And of course, everybody's favorite are the homing missiles. And your mines never hurt you. Your own weapons, like your bullets and things, can hurt you, but your mines are smart enough to leave you alone. And the encrypted star map button, I'll push that at the end here. But initially you only have a very small number of maps, and so this gives you a way to unlock up to 30 or so maps. And then after that, you've got whatever maps players make and share. So now he's going to let us out of the pen. The right wall is going to come down in a second. There it goes. Okay, so this pretty much ends the used up all my charge again. The end of the tutorial, part 1, after which there's sort of a transitional phase that leads to the recurring adventure, so that you can come back and replay the map and not have to do the tutorial part, but get to do some scenario adventure that hopefully is not too boring. So every time I try to show the source code for this, I mess up, and maybe you don't really care, but just just so you can see what made that happen. Some Lua code. So set cam orbit. Tutor said, hold on, we've got trigger. Bot tutor :say. Very simple. And so it's as easy to write as a screenplay format, but the stage directions can be actual code. So it's pretty powerful, and we'll see what happens. Anyway, the end.